What happens to retirement accounts when you name a beneficiary before you're married and then you later get married? Does the beneficiary that you listed still stay intact, or does it automatically go to your new spouse? I've got a real life planning situation, that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Recently, I've done some videos and created some content on the estate planning process and beneficiary audits and the things that you need to do. And yeah, most people don't like thinking about it, but estate planning is one of the 6 areas of your financial life. So you need to be aware of how your financial decisions and the goals that you're trying to achieve financially, well, what are the estate implications of it? And so often this is, well, attend to that area, do the fire drill every couple of years. And if something were to happen to you, whether you pass away or your spouse passes away, or if you're just unable to manage your own financial affairs, what happens? What do you want to happen? And is that set up to be accomplished? And so reviewing beneficiaries and ownership and all of that is critically important. Well, a fan of the show listed a question to one of those videos, and a very, very real financial situation. Here was the question. My dad started a 401k when he was a single parent, and he got remarried about a year before he passed away. He must not have ever updated the beneficiary because I got a letter from the company saying that I was going to receive the account. Will I actually inherit those dollars, or is that supposed to go to his new wife? Awful situation, and I'm sorry for your loss. Financially, it's a very interesting question, one that we've actually experienced with folks that we've served in the past, where people come into our office as opposed to just leave the question and say, hey, this just happened, what do we do? Or clients come in who have their financial situation all kind of squared away, but hey, this just happened to someone that I know, can you help? And so here's the thing, estate planning, we often teach this as part of it, and that is, how do assets pass? Okay, and we're just kind of making the complex more simple, and it might be overly simplified, but think of it in 3 ways. Assets pass in 3 ways. 1, via law or by law, okay? And there's a legal owner and legal ownership that sometimes can dictate how assets are going to pass. And I'm saying these in a particular order because it's usually, each one sort of supersedes the others. So first one is by law. And so if you owned something jointly by law, then it's likely going to go to the joint if there's a right to survivorship. And so the ownership matters, and a 401k, that's individual ownership. You can't even have a joint 401k. It's individual. So there's no by law that applies here. Second, assets pass by contract. Well, is there a contractual beneficiary form that says, listen, if I die, this money's going to go to this person? 401ks, Roth IRAs, life insurance, right? Those types of accounts have contracts. You don't think of it that way. It's a beneficiary form, but it's a contract that you sign and fill out and naming this individual. And so that is part of the estate planning that you need to do, is that beneficiary audit. Do I have the right people listed? Well, assets that don't pass by law then go down to by contract. Assets that don't pass by contract, either other assets, or if you don't name a beneficiary, right, then it's going to pass by testate or intestate laws. And that is basically process of the will or the court system. Do you have written instructions as to who should get your assets, and do you have specific bequests? Or if you don't, then it's going to go through the courts through the intestate process, and the courts are going to say who's next of kin and all of that, and we're going to assign the assets in a certain way. But it is that priority, okay? It's going to flow in that order. So to this question, right, if you are the named beneficiary, then contractually the 401k does go to you. Whether dad remarried or not, he's got to make sure that the beneficiary listed is who he intends to receive the dollars. So yes, unless there is a unique situation, I'll explain in a moment, then yeah, even if he remarried, if you're still the named beneficiary, then you would receive those dollars. And we've talked about it quite a bit. Now you're receiving those dollars under the 10-year rule, which means you've got 10 years to empty that account. If dad had already passed his required beginning date, which is 73, so he was taking required distributions, then you'd have to do that as well. If not, then you don't need to, but you still have 10 years to empty the account. So that's how that would work. But there is one rare exception, and it shouldn't apply to the 401k unless the business had it structured a certain way, but oftentimes applies to pensions. And that is that there is actually, again, superseding here, going up from contract, going to law, that some pension plans, it's required that the spouse be the beneficiary. And if the spouse is not the named beneficiary, the spouse needs to sign off on it. Now, oftentimes those are for pension accounts. And so if dad remarried, maybe he never had her sign off, and there might be a claim there might be an argument. So you'll want to look into those documents, or even if that doesn't apply in this situation, be aware of that as you're looking at your own financial situation, doing your beneficiary review, that if you do get remarried, sometimes pensions would require that now the spouse would need to acknowledge that they're not going to be the beneficiary. A lot of 401ks are like that too, but certainly pension plans. So when's the last time you updated your beneficiaries? When's the last time you did sort of that kind of geeky work and looked at all of your different accounts to see and run that fire drill to see, do I have the ownership right? Do I have the beneficiaries right? And updated that accordingly. You're going to want to do that every so often, and if you haven't done that recently, I'd encourage you to add that to your financial to-do list. Work with your certified financial planner on that to ensure that you've got the right instructions, you've got the right documents in place, and you've got the right folks listed as beneficiaries. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com, that's Korhorn with K. WiseMoneyShow.com, you can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.